Hello everyone and welcome to Coffee with Ceri. I'm Ceri Griffiths, and in these videos I basically choose a topic, something that may have caught my attention, something that's popped into my brain, and I just talk about it and have a cup of coffee as we go along. My aim isn't to upset anyone, not meaning to be opinionated, purely just maybe raising awareness about a subject, starting a conversation, maybe reminding you of something. So this month's topic is basically, I make journals. There are lots of us out there that make journals. Very often I get the comment on my YouTube feed of, what do you do with the journal? People buy journals and then they don't use them because they don't want to spoil the journal because they think it's too beautiful. What is a journal? How do you use a journal? What's a journal for? And I think that is very much a personal conversation. A journal is whatever you make it to be. A journal doesn't have to be something that is made specifically to be a journal. I personally wouldn't have a folder on my computer or my iPad that I would refer to as a journal, because to me a journal is a physical thing. To me a journal is something that I can touch, I can feel, I can add to. Now in the future maybe there will be an electronic version of a journal where you cut and paste images, you write on the screen. I mean, you could potentially create that and have it on an iPad and use an Apple Pen or something and write in it. But for me, it's more about the creative process of using a journal. Now, there are lots of different uses for journals. Some people use them as a gratitude journal. So a journal will be something that you write in every night, and you maybe list 3 or 4 things that you're grateful for. A journal could be maybe you've got a grandchild that's just been born and your journal is capturing the journey of that child, maybe all the way to adulthood, depends on how big the journal is. I do travel journals, so if I'm traveling abroad, I'm going on vacation, or sometimes if I'm going on business trips, I will make myself a traveler's notebook and I will keep a record of my tickets, my times, things I've seen along the way, because no matter whether I'm traveling for pleasure or for business, there is always downtime. There is always new experiences. There's always stuff I can capture and put into it. My planner is something, it's not like a bullet journal. It's, can I reach them? I don't think I can reach them. They're TN size, traveler's notebook size. I make my own inserts for my planners, and what I do is, as I'm using my planner, which is basically somewhere I put dates and appointments and things like that, I write them in pencil, and then once I've completed them, I write them in pen. There are blank areas in these books, and what I do is I will then come in and I will then collage it. Actually, wait a minute, see if I can reach them from here. 1 second, bear with me. They weren't a million miles away. Okay, so this is one of the inserts. An insert for me, for my planner, is probably about 5 months worth. So as you can see, once I've finished writing in it, I actually collage or put, oh, that's my car. Or I put pieces of art in it. I will use it almost like a glue book. So for me, a planner isn't a bullet planner. It's just my version of a planner. And I'm not going to waste the paper, so I keep them all purely because I can go back in time, and if I'm looking for when did I pay my car tax last, when did I pay the insurance, when was that appointment, when did I have that meeting, it's all in here. I mean, I've got a few years of these stacked up behind me, and sometimes if I'm looking, say I've got a creative block, say I'm struggling with a colour scheme, or I'm like, I really want to create something, I can't think of what I want to do. Very often I'll pick up one of these and I'll randomly, right, I'm going to randomly open a page. Okay, that page. Now, I'll go, ooh, I like that colour combination. Or I could do a butterfly with some gilded letters on it. I haven't done anything with fish for a while. oh, look, there's some nice rice paper down here. Maybe I can do a country cottage. Things like that would, what have I just shown you, by the way? Basically showing you my life. I've lost the page anyway. I'm sure it wasn't that important. That's a few years old. What's that? That's about a year and a half ago. But I will use the images within it to inspire me. Now, I do know that within those pages, everything that's on those pages are only there because I liked them. So anyway, so that's one use for it. But do I use journals? Yes, I do. This was my travel journal that I created the last time I went to Chicago, which was July 2002. It's not fully complete, pretty much, but it's got room for more. So my next journey to Chicago, because I go to Chicago hopefully once a year because my friends live there and I used to live there as well. So that will get completed the next one. And I stick things in it. My tickets, my memories, packaging, menus, just stuff. So I do that. And there is a really important reason which I'll get to eventually, I promise you. So that's my travel journal currently. Mind you, I've got 2 big trips this year. 3 big trips this year. So I've got to create a new travel journal. So if you're someone who actually is following my playlist of making journals for beginners, there will be a travel journal that I'll be creating for my own personal journals. I will video that. There's this one. This is another, and you can see how much is stuffed into this one. Another journal, and this for me, this journal is basically, this isn't current events. This is as I clean out stuff, as I'm going through stuff. When a memory pops into my mind, or maybe someone sends me something, or say I'm clearing out a drawer and I find a photograph and go, oh, remember that? And I will put it in it. It's in no consecutive order. It's basically just stuff. And then what I'll do is I will write down stuff that's next to that image, that photograph, that embellishment, something. And this is where I capture stuff. And then I think you're familiar with this. This is my current journal. And in my current journal, as you can see, I've got loads of stuff in here. I keep adding to it. And when this one is full, I will then, I mean, there's quite a bit of spare space there. When this one's full, I will go on to the next journal. But for me, the reason I journal isn't because I'm going to leave my journals to someone. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if when I pass away, because there's only my sister and I left, when I pass away, most of this craft room could quite conceivably go into a skip, go into landfill, or just be put into charity shops. Or I just don't know, I haven't thought about if I'm last man standing, if my sister has passed away before me, I'm not sure what I do with all of this. Well, not what I need to leave some instructions on who would benefit from handing these supplies on. And that's something I probably should do, actually, leave a list like that, because I wouldn't put something like this into a will, but I would put it into a letter and go, okay, this person will benefit from this. Make sure this charity gets this. Make sure that you get my meaning. So yes, I wouldn't be surprised if things like these just go into landfill, because they're things that I'm using, but do they mean anything to anyone else? There's nobody left in my family except my sister and I. However, why do I journal? For me, I'm busily capturing moments in my life. Now, this one is pretty much current moments, or as they happen, or things that crop up. This is past memories. These are things, you know, that tin of photographs we've all got somewhere in the house. I'll go through that occasionally and go, oh, remember that? There's a picture of me doing this and a picture of me doing that. And oh my God, remember that? And without that photograph, I won't remember. As I said, this is a travel journal. I can't remember everything I did in July. I can if I look through this. For me, it's about capturing the memories, because one of the things I am aware of is when you hit a certain age, I suppose you could actually say when you hit any age. Okay, I'm 63 years old now. I am aware that my memory has been stuffed with so many bits of information that to put something new in is probably going to knock something else out. And the older we get, the likelihood is we're going to start forgetting. Now, there are some very, very cruel health issues out there, like dementia. I can't think of the other word. Basically, you start to forget. And I am creating these journals so that if I get to that point in my life where I'm beginning to forget things, if anyone hands me this journal, if I just read or flick through this journal, I can almost assure you it's going to bring back that memory. This one, like exactly the same. It will spark a memory. I mean, this will not only bring back my July trip to Chicago, it'll probably tie in to a lot of the other memories I have from Chicago, because that journal is full of my friends. And I've known some of those people. I mean, let's see. I must have known Mary now for 30 years. Matt, Andre, Billy, at least 20 years. Sean, probably 25 years. So just by looking at this, I will remember those things. Now, there is another side to journaling as well, which I will not benefit from, nor my family, is if you have children or grandchildren, they may want to look back. They may want to look at their ancestry. They may want to go through the family tree. I mean, there are companies out there now who research details and documents, and you can go to them online. I think you have to pay a subscription. Don't know, not done it. And you can plot your family tree. You can find your ancestors. There's a whole industry built around that. And a lot of the problem is the people who knew this stuff have passed away but never wrote it down. They never told anyone. Things were never handed on. And I know that from my own personal experience, I mean, we've lost, I'd say 10 family members and close family friends within the last 24 months. Now, we won't go down the route as to emotions, but every time someone passes away, they take with them their memories. Now, you may only know one layer of that person. I mean, I know that when my mother passed away, it was only going through sorting out documents and stuff we found in drawers and photographs with little things written on the back. There was stuff we didn't even know about. It wasn't that Mum was keeping secrets. It was basically that it didn't seem important enough to tell anyone. However, just knowing those things to me was incredibly important. I think it is in this one. When I was going through some of the drawers, I found this little brown envelope. And in this little brown envelope were the negatives to Mum's wedding day. I'd never seen those photographs. I didn't even know they existed, because Mum and Dad, unfortunately, went their separate ways when I was about 9 years old. I don't know whether there's a family album somewhere with those pictures in them, but luckily enough, I ended up with the negatives, and I went to my little photography store and I got them developed, and they are now in this same journal in an envelope next to the negatives. So I have now got those memories. I couldn't tell you what my mother looked like on a wedding day. Couldn't tell you who was there, but I can now. And all of those things are just being lost. We continually lose things. I mean, how many of you have got grandparents and every time you go and talk to them, they have fascinating stories? They're only telling you because you're there and they're making conversation. Those will disappear. So for me, it's incredibly important, personally, for me to record these things, not because of posterity, because they need to be known by someone else. As I said, there is nobody. When my sister and I go, there's no children, no grandchildren, end of story. I'm taking the family tree with me. But that's different maybe for you. That is something that maybe if I did have children or grandchildren, when they're clearing out my belongings, they find this and they go through them and they go, well, if they can read my handwriting for a start, And there's another point. Your handwriting is a reflection of your personality, a reflection of you. And those are things that can never be duplicated. And maybe the child or the grandchild who picks this up will go through this, and it will spark in them an interest, or it will show them things that they never knew that I did, or they never knew that maybe upset me, or never knew what inspired me, or never knew that I was in Tokyo for 3 months as a performer, because no one knows that. I know that. Well, you know that now. They won't know that the card in there that's got a geisha girl was actually a gift to me. It just ties things together. So why do I journal? I journal to capture memories. I capture them because in recording them, I relive that memory and all of the emotions that go with it in the act of journaling. I also do it because I know that one day maybe my memory won't be as good. However, rereading some of my journals, it will spark a memory, evoke an emotion for myself. Maybe someone will pick up one of these. Maybe down the road, because we never know what the future holds. Maybe the future may change something that I've created. I don't know. Let's choose something that's not about me. Okay, Picasso, the artist. No, actually, let's go to Van Gogh. Van Gogh, the artist, had a struggle. His life, from what I understand, was a really big struggle. I don't feel he ever understood the impact he has had on the art world. The innovations in colour and design that he created. He will, at the time, didn't know that everything he had touched or used or lived, or locations, everything about him, even his sketch pads, even his paint palette and his paint box, which I believe are still out there, to him they were just day-to-day things. Like for me, this is a day-to-day thing. However, now things that Van Gogh have touched or sketched or done are now worth thousands, if not millions of pounds. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be that person. Good grief. What I generate is never going to be that. But say Van Gogh had actually created one of these, how much value would that have added to the art world to understand his reasoning or his thought processes, or where the inspiration came from for painting this or choosing that art colour or this paint or this genre, or who was he in love with? Who inspired him? Who helped him? So for me, journals are not just a repository for the sake of journaling. They are things to help me in my dotage, my old age, to actually be able to look back on a life that for me has been very interesting. And when I can no longer do it, I can relive those memories and truly, truly enjoy them through maybe a plane ticket, maybe a photograph, maybe a little watercolour I did when I was in the middle of Norway, maybe the packaging of when I was in Amsterdam, I found this chocolate bar that I really loved and I kept the packaging. Do you get where I'm going? So without labouring this any further, because I don't want these videos to be hugely long in time, and my coffee's going cold. My coffee is cold, but I don't mind iced coffee, that's fine. So have fun, guys. Use a journal in the way that you choose to use a journal. A journal does not have to have a cover and pages. A journal could be anything you choose it to be. If you're someone who makes a journal, yes, be inspired by others, how others actually make a journal, but a journal doesn't need to be a book. A journal could be a Rolodex. A journal could be a clip with sheets of paper. A journal could be, it could be anything. So make journaling what works for you. Make a journal in the format that works for you, and use a journal in whichever way you wish to use a journal. Journaling for me is incredibly important. It captures moments in time. It will help me. It may help you. It may be something that is a treasured memory for a future generation in your family tree. I know that because as you know, I'm friends with Gail Augustinelli. I know that sometimes when she's journaling and she'll go, oh, that's my mother's handwriting, or that's my grandfather's handwriting. And you can hear it in her voice that it may be a shopping list. It may be a recipe for making chocolate cake, but it's so precious because it's a tangible piece of a person who is no longer with us. So enjoy journaling, guys. Until next time, bye-bye.